Hello everyone, today we are going to solve the wrong number series test which is available on the EduRev platform. So in this particular type of series, what we have to do is that we have to find the logic and the pattern behind the series and then find the digits which does not actually match that logic or pattern. How it is different from the type of questions we have already solved? It is different in the sense that in all the other series that we were doing till now, we had to find the next term. But here we don't have to find any new term, we just have to find out the term which is wrong, the term which does not fit in this particular series. Okay, great. Now let's start solving the questions. So for question number 1, we have 59, 41, 68, 33, 77 and 23. Okay, great. So as you can see, the series is first decreasing, then increasing, then decreasing, then increasing, and then decreasing. Okay, so we can't see a pattern particularly here. So let's try to find it while doing it through a difference method. So from 59 to 41, how do we get here? We subtract 18. From 41 to 68, we add 27. From 68 to 33, we subtract 35. And from 33 to 77, we add 44. From 77 to 23, what we do? We subtract 54. Okay. Again, not a particular pattern that could be observed here, but I know that I can write 18 as 9 into 2, 27 as 9 into 3, 35. Wait, I can't write 35 as 9 into 4, right? I can't do this. But it's still very close. Okay, what about 44? Again, it is very close to 45, which is 9 into 5. But here again, the pattern is still there, while 9 into 6 is 54. And assuming that the logic that we have found is correct, the problem starts at 33. Understanding this, we can see that the problem starts when we move from 68 to 33 and 33 to 77. So the common element, the common wrong element here is 33. Therefore, our wrong number would be 33. Now, what would be the correct number? The correct number one would be when we go from 68 to the number where we have to subtract 36 instead of 35, which would be 32. So the wrong number is 33 and instead of that 32 should be in this series. Let's check it on the platform. As you can see, so here we will point out D, option 33. So you see option D is wrong. So as you can see that option D, 33 is the wrong number series. Hence our answer is correct. Now let's move on to the next question. Now for the next question, we can clearly see that here the series is again, forming a pattern. So let's try to find it. So for question number 2, we have 9, 5, 6, 10.5, 23, 90 and 183. Okay. Now see, do not just look at it in the superficial way that because there is only one number which has point in it, so one is only decimal and other are whole numbers, so this must be wrong. No, that is not the correct way to look at wrong number series questions. You have to find the logic behind it and only then we can point out which is the wrong one. Okay. Now let's see that that the numbers are moving actually quite fast when we move down to the series. Okay, so 90 to 183, it's moving almost double. The question is how it is happening. Okay, because it is happening very fast, we are going to assume that it is a multiplicative series. So from 9 to 5, how do we go from 9 to 5? Okay, there are two ways that we can subtract 4, but we know that already it's not a difference or addition series. So we're going to try it by multiplicative or division method. So in that way, what we have to do is multiply it by 0.5 and then add 0.5, because 9 into 0.5 will give us 4.5 and then 0.5 addition will give us 5. For 5 to 6, it's into 1 plus 1. For 6 to 10, it's into 1.5, which gives us 9, and then we add 1.5. I'm sure that you can see the pattern here, right? So consequently, from 10.5 to 23, it should be into 2, which is 21, plus 2, which gives us 23. Now from 23 to 90, it should be into 2.5 plus 2.5. Now I'm sure that all of you can understand and see it very clearly that 23 into 2.5 plus 2.5 will never give us 90. And therefore the pattern breaks at 90. So our wrong number here is 90. And what would the correct number? The correct number here would be 23 into 2.5. And then whatever the number comes, we add 2.5 to it. So here our correct number would have been 60. And if you want to also verify it, we can see from 60, if you meant to multiply it into 3, which is 180, and add 3, we also get 183. Therefore, our wrong number here is 90. So option A is the correct one. As you can see, option A is correct, and you can see the solution that EduRev has done on the platform. It is very similar to what we have done. Great. Now let's move on to the next question. So here for question number 3. So here we will go for question number 3. Okay, let's have a look at it. So for question number 3, we have 318, 168, 78, 38, 18, 8 and 3. Okay, so as you can see that it is a decreasing series. It's very clear. So it's a decreasing series. So this means that there is going to be a division in it. Now the question is that if we go from 318 to 168, there are a lot of complicated ways one can go from here to here, right? But there is a very easy way if we talk about division to go from 8 to 3. And what is it? That we divide it by 2 and then we subtract 1. Because 8 divided by 2 is 4 and then minus 1 is 3. What about 18 to 8? It's again divided by 2, which gives us 9 and minus 1. 38 to 18 says the same pattern. So here the pattern is divide by 2 and minus 1. For 78 to 38, it's once again divide by 2 and then minus 1. But for 168 to 78, here if I divide it by 2, it gives me 84. If I divide, so we have to minus 6 here to get 78. This means the pattern is being broken at 168. So this means here our wrong number would be 168. And what would be the correct number? It is important to find the correct number always, not for the question point of view, but for you to broaden your thinking and have a better understanding of number series. What would be the correct one? The correct number would be 318 divided by 2 minus 1. So our correct number would be here 158. Let's check it. So as we can see, option A is 168 and now this should be the correct answer. And as you can see, it is 168 is the wrong number in this particular series. Now let's move on to the next question. Great. Now for next question, we have for question number 4 particularly, we have, let's write it down. Question number 4. So it states 3, 8, 18, 38, 80, 158 and 318. Okay. The series is actually increasing at a very fast rate. You can see, from 3 to 8 small, 8 to 18 bigger, 8 to 38 then bigger, 38 to 80 is a huge jump, 80 to 158 is a huge jump, and 158 to 318 is once again a huge jump. Okay, so how do we get here? Because we can clearly see it's a multiplicative series, so we are going to look at it in the same way from the very start. So for 3 to 8, it's into 2 plus 2, right? It also could be, into 3 minus 1, but let's try to look at it from this perspective first. So into 2 plus 2. Okay, what about 8 to 18? Okay, it's once again into 2 and plus 2. Because 8 into 2 is 16 plus 2, 18. 18 to 38. So 18 into 2 is 36 plus 2, 38. Okay, the pattern is being formed. This means 38 to 80 should technically be into 2 plus 2. But 38 into 2 is actually 76. Then we have to add 4 here. That seems wrong. And if we talk about from 80 to 158, as once again we multiplied by 2, but it's 160, so we have to subtract 2 here. But what about 158 to 318? 158 to 318, the pattern is being formed because 158 into 2 is 316, and then we add 2 to it. So we can clearly see the pattern is being broken at 80. Okay, So here from 38 to 80 the pattern was broken, and 80 to 158 the pattern was broken. So the common element where the pattern is being broken is 80. So here our wrong number would be 80, and the correct one would be 38 into 2 plus 2, which gives us 78, because 38 into 2 is 76, then it gives 78, and here the pattern is being formed. Here the pattern is being broken. So our correct answer would be from the options, option E, 80. Let's have a look at it. And you can clearly see it's the right answer. The solution you can clearly see from the EduRev platform. Great. Now let's move on to the next question. So our next question is question number 5. Okay. Now let's move on to question number 5. So here it states 120, 143, 168, 195, 226 and 255. Okay, great. Now, instead of finding the pattern here, because if you remember that I have always told you that for understanding number series and being able to solve its question very fast, very efficiently and very accurately, you need to learn 1 to 100 prime numbers, 1 to 40 squares and 1 to 20 cubes. And if you have learned 1 to 40 squares, you can see that all of these numbers in this particular series, all of them are awfully close to the squares. As you can see, 120 is nothing but 11 square, which is 121 minus 1. 143 is 12 square minus 1. 168 is 13 square minus 1. 195 is 14 square minus 1. So you can see the current pattern being formed. But here it is, the pattern is being broken because 15 square is 225 and we have to add 1 here to get to 26. While once again here the pattern is being formed, 16 square minus 1. So it's very easy answer that 226 is a wrong number here. So our wrong number is 226, while our correct number should be basically 225 minus 1, which is 224. Great. So here our wrong answer would be option E, 226. Let's check it. And as you can clearly see that we are right once again, and the solution is also available on the platform. Great. Now let's move on to the next question. So for our next question we have, let's write it down. Question number 6. So it states 32, 39, 65, 128, 253 and 467. Okay, great. Now let's have a look at it. So from 32 to 39, okay, because we can see that the series in start is actually, the numbers are from the very start are huge numbers, okay. So let's see how we are getting there in the first place. So from 32 to 39, we can see we are just adding 7 to it. From 39 to 65, what we are doing, we are adding 26 to it. For 65 to 128, we are adding 63 to it, while for 1 to 120 to 253 we are adding 125 to it. From 253 to 467 we are adding 214 to it. Okay, not much of a pattern to be seen in the first instance, even after we have done the division method, the difference method. But I can clearly see that 7 could be here written as 2 cube minus 1, right? And if I talk about 26, it's 3 cube minus 1. This is 4 cube minus 1. This is not 5 cube minus 1. So this is not correct. This is wrong here. So it's not fitting the pattern that we have understood till now. Well, if we talk about 2 and 4, this is once again not fitting the pattern of 6 cube minus 1, because according to the pattern, it should be fitting the pattern of 6 cube minus 1. Okay. Now we know that according to this, the problem starts at 253. So the problem starts at 253. Hence, the wrong number would be 253, the number which does not fit the pattern. And instead of that, the correct number would have been, when the difference would have been 124 instead of 125. So therefore the correct number would have been 252. Let's check it out. Option B should be the correct answer here, and yes, it is. Option B is the correct answer here. Great. Now let's look at question number 7. So for question number 7 we have 33, 39, 56, 85, 127, 185 and 254. Okay, great. Let's look at the difference method first. So from 33 to 39, it's a difference of 6. 39 to 56, it's a difference of 17. From 56 to 85, it could be the sum, should be the difference, should be around, let's say 29. And from 85 to 127, the difference should be of 42. 127 to 185, the difference would be of 58. And from 185 to 254, the difference comes out to be around 69. Okay, great. So this was the first stage of difference method. Now we know that we can't seem to find a pattern in this particular difference. But we won't lose hope with this method. What we will do, we will make a difference again. So it will be a second stage one. From 6 to 17, this is 11. 17 into 29, this comes out to be around 12. From 29 to 42, it's 13. As you can see, some form of logic is being formed here. Now from 42 to 58. Okay, so we add 10 to it, become 52, then we add 4 for 14, so it's become 56. But here it's not equal. It should have been 14, but 14 difference is not equal according to the pattern. What about 58 to 69? For 58 to 69, what we are doing here, we are just adding 11 to it. Okay, this doesn't seem right either, because the pattern should be 13, then 14, and then an addition of 15. But the pattern is being broken here. Okay, now because of that, we can clearly see if it's 14, the pattern is being broken here. So this means the pattern is also being broken as 14 and 58. 42 and 58. Therefore, a wrong number in the entire series comes out to be, if we move up the ladder, is 185. So a wrong number here is 185. And our correct number here would have been, instead of 185, it would have been 183. And if it was 183, all the pattern would have been formed. It would be 13, then 14, and here it would be 15. Okay, great. So here let's check it out. Let's see which is our option 185. It's option E. Let's have a look at it. Great. As you can clearly see here that the answer is 185, and you can see the solution on the EduRev platform too. Now let's move on to next question. So now for question number 7. Or question number 8 actually. So for question number 8, we have 7, 9, 21, 67, 275, 1371 and 8233. Wow. I can just have a look at it, and I can clearly say that it is a multiplicative series, because you can see the numbers are increasing at such a huge rate, right? So now the question is, first of all, how do we go from 7 to 9 if it's a multiplicative series? Now you can multiply it by 2 and then minus 5, but that seems like a lot of things to do. What about into 1 and plus 2? What about 9 to 21? Isn't this just into 2 plus 3? And 21 to 67 seems into 3, which is 63, an addition of 4. Wow, it's 1, 2, then 2, 3, then 3, 4, then technically this should be, according to the pattern, into 4 plus 5. But that's not true, because 67 into 4 plus 5 would actually give us 273. And here it's 275. So the pattern is being broken here. And if we move from here, the pattern would be broken again, because we can see that even here it's not being formed properly. Therefore, our wrong number in the series would be 275. And what would be the correct one? The correct one would have been 67 into 4 plus 5, which comes out to be 273. Let's have a look at it. Option C should be our right answer here. And you can see that option C is the right answer and the correct wrong number is 275. Now let's move on to the next question. This is our question number 9. So now let's move on to question number 9. Let's write it down. 3, 6, 15, 45, 157, 630 and 2, 8, 3, 5. Once again, just by the look of it, it's very easy to understand that this is a multiplicative series. So how do we go from 3 to 6 in a multiplicative series? We just multiply it by 2. How about 6 to 15? Well, 6 into 2 is 12 and 6 into 2.5 is 15. Okay. Now if this third comes out to be into 3, then there is a pattern. And we all know that 15 into 3 is 45. What about 157? Now technically this should be 45 into 3.5. But if we do the calculation, we would come to understand that 45 into 3.5 is actually 157.5, not 157. Therefore, the pattern is being broken here. And because of this, here the pattern would be not, still will be formed here either. But what about 630 to 2835? Because this should have been into 4 and this should be into 4.5. And if you do the calculation, you will see that 630 into 4.5 is actually 2835. Therefore, we can clearly understand our wrong number in this particular series is 157. Therefore, our wrong number would be 157 and therefore the correct number would be 157.5. You see, the difference was only of 0.5, but that broke the complete pattern, the complete logic that we made. Therefore, it is very important to find the logic and not just guess when we are doing the wrong number series. Let's have a look at it. So option C should be the right answer here. And yes, it is, the wrong number is 157. Great. Now let's move on to the next question. Now for the next question, we have question number 10. Okay. So for question number 10, we have here 5, 23, 43, 66, 94 and 131. Okay. And as you can see that it is not increasing at a very huge rate. So we can easily assume that it's a different series for now. Now how do we go from 5 to 23? We add 18. What about 23 to 43? We add 20. 43 to 66? We add 23. 66 to 94? We add 28. And 94 to 131? We add 37. 18, 20, 23, 28, 37. Okay. No particular pattern here. But once again, this is just the first step out of our difference. We can also always try the second. What about 18 to 20? Difference is 2. 20 to 23? 3. 5. And what about here? It's 9. Okay. And if I see the pattern here, this is a prime number, prime number, prime number, not prime number, right? Now we all know that if you have actually done the work and I have told you that to remember all the prime numbers, we know that after 2, 3 and 5, this should be 7. So here it should have been 7. If it would have been 7, then it would have been 28 plus 7, which would have come out to be 35. Therefore, our wrong number in this particular series is 131. So the wrong number in this particular series is 131. And the correct in its place would have been 129. Great, let's check it. And option D should be the right answer here. And yes, it is, option D is the right answer here. Great. Now this brings us to the end of this particular test, and I'm sure that all of you enjoy doing all of these questions together with me. These were very helpful questions for you to understand the number series and also how to find the wrong number series questions and how to solve them. Now, I would like to request all of you to go on the EduRev platform and solve the other tests, look at the other videos for revision and get thorough with the number series so that whenever it comes in test, you are well versed with it. Great. Thank you so much. Have a great time and have happy learning with EduRev.